What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me for Real Talk NFT. As you know, I'm your host, Brian. You know my amazing co-host, Joe. And we have a special, very fun guest here for you today. It's actually an individual I interviewed for our crypto summit recently. And when I talked to Alec, I was like, definitely have to have you on the podcast. So he's the co-founder of Advantage Blockchain. And Advantage Blockchain is an education, research, and investment company that's really helping people use and extract value from the blockchain. Alec is an expert of really all things Web3, and we're just really excited to have him on the podcast. Alec, how you doing today?
I'm great. I've been looking forward to this all week. Really exciting stuff. I appreciate you guys having me on, and ready to get into some cool Web3, talk about AB, Advantage Blockchain, and whatever else comes up.
Yeah, I love it. And we're going to dive in here. Before we talk about Advantage Blockchain, and of course, we're going to talk about our fair share of meme coins and some base fun things out there as well. I would love for you to just kind of give our viewers an opportunity to learn more about you, how you got into the crazy world of Web3.
Absolutely. So I got very lucky to get into the space in 2015. Somewhat early. And it was really my co-founder that got me involved. He Googled while we were in college, and actually Brian and I went to the same school. Shout out to Penn State. But while I was in school, my best friend from growing up, he was at IU, and he happened to Google how to get rich in school. And he was bored in class, found an article about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and sent it over to me. He's like, "You have to look into this. It's incredible." He hounded me for a few weeks, and finally I said, "All right, if he's taking it this seriously and he's this passionate about it, I'll take a look." And it made sense, right? I really appreciated the decentralized nature. I loved the aspect of getting out of traditional financial systems, like banks and like governments, where you can have your own sovereignty on your money. I really believed in that concept. So I took all of the very little money that I had and I put it right into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as I started to learn more, it was very apparent that this was a passion of mine, not just an investment or not just a hobby. And back in 2017, when the market really started to boom, I had a job in real estate. My co-founder, he had already started trading crypto full time, and we just put our heads together and said we should start a company around crypto, and that was how Advantage Blockchain was born back in 2017.
Man, and you've seen the fair share of ups and downs, because 2017, we were pounding in a bull market, kind of rolled through it, then a bear market, then back into a bull market. So you've seen your fair cycles. And I don't know when this podcast is going to be released. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. But we had some big news just last night. Bitcoin hit $100,000. People in the crypto world are absolutely celebrating left and right. My phone was getting several text messages of people that I've known to just let me know that Bitcoin hit $100,000. Little did they know I was watching like a live chart to see it hit. What are your feelings about it hitting 100,000 and where we're headed from here?
That was a real "where were you when it happened" moment. I was kind of hoping that it would happen on this podcast while I was on with you guys. I thought that would be pretty cool. I guess we still have the opportunity for Ethereum to hit 4,000 again on this. That would be awesome. It's at 3,900 right now. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin hitting 100,000 is validation for the work that we put in, for the belief and the conviction to keep putting money into it. To take a lot of negative, response from people in my life that, whether they're in TradFi or whether they're, more traditional people or whether they just didn't believe in the hype. It is very much validation. I got so many texts last night from random people. It feels good. And I would say it feels good, but back to work and we have a long ways to go. So.
Yeah, for sure. And one of my best friends, shout out to you, Patsko, kind of got into crypto with me, a Penn State grad as well. I got into crypto with me very early on. So we've always had this real close relationship. Every time we hit a milestone, we talk all the time, kind of one of those close crypto buddies we all have. And we were kind of messaging back and forth last night. And I was like, man, we were chopping between 95 and 99,000 for weeks. And I was surprised. I was so excited when we actually hit 100,000 bucks. Like I was truly excited. I was like, oh, we did it. That psychological barrier is real. And then we kind of started talking about when Bitcoin first hit 10,000 and how we were like just so enamored with it going to 10 grand and it kind of ran up to 11, 12, 13. It was like nonstop. And we're like, oh my gosh, it was just like, just complete joy at that time. And he goes, hey, I screenshotted this. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I screenshotted because we were so excited at 10K and we could never believe 100K was going to happen. He goes, now we're so excited for 100K. He goes, you know, a million's coming soon. And I was like, sign me up, Ryan. Really exciting stuff right now.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is how many people are now coming to the table, own a little Bitcoin, and are saying it's at 100,000. Is it time to sell? And obviously, I'm biased. I am very much crypto native on chain, as much as possible. And the way that I see it is, my Bitcoin is something I'll never touch. It is literally, in my opinion, my family's legacy that I'm leaving for them. And like when you get into crypto enough and you really understand Bitcoin and you really understand what the financial system is today versus what it could be with Web3, I think that at some point it automatically clicks and you understand why Bitcoin is so important and why it is tomorrow's and really today's financial system, currency, and what you should have and why it's something you should never sell, in my opinion. So
Yeah, it's just crazy times. It's super exciting, and I agree with you. I had a buddy I was at the gym with this morning, and he was like, he's a no coiner, by the way. Love him, but he's a no coiner. Been trying to get him in for a long time, and he's like, so 100,000. I was like, 100,000, man. And he's like, so time to sell? I go, no, Chris, it is not the time to sell. This is price discovery, my guy. I was like explaining to him. He's like, so when are you going to sell? And I kind of stopped and I was like, probably never. I was
yeah,
like,
well,
I'm going to be buying the top forever.
yeah, I was literally about to say, I love Michael Saylor just said this, and I heard it for the first time maybe 2, 3 weeks ago. He said, I will always be buying the top. And that's how I feel there, because there is really no top when you understand that it's mathematically designed to continue to go up as other fiat currencies fail.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris. I was like, what am I going to sell it for, man? Gold? Am I going to roll it back into USD and lose money? The stock market, I guess you could argue that, like you pound into Nvidia and you catch the next Nvidia, but seems much more unlikely to find that than to just, he was like real estate. I was like, you know what's just as good of a performer as real estate? Just buying bags of Bitcoin, not looking at it, catching the percentages, and I don't have to deal with tenants. I don't have to deal with property taxes. But okay, enough about all this Bitcoin stuff because we're going to talk more about it. Tell me about Advantage. What are you guys building out there? How are you kind of changing the game?
Absolutely. So I like to describe Advantage Blockchain as what, so we are a fund. We are definitely an investment fund, but really what we are is a collective of blockchain researchers, users, educators, and investors. And I would describe us as we exist so you can succeed on chain. Is we want to make sure that everybody has the best security. Everybody knows everybody has access to the best information. Everybody knows what we're doing. We're extremely transparent in our holdings, what we participate in, not just what we like and are invested in, but what we see as really beneficial for the blockchain space as a whole. So what we're aiming to do is we want to build, and we're currently building the world's largest public library for blockchain resources. And we just want to give away all this information for free because when we got started, there was really not much out there. Everything was extremely siloed. It was really hard to know what was good information, what was bad information, who were good actors, who were bad actors, things like that. And we wish that we had something like a public library of great information, of trustworthy sources. And so that's really what we want to provide to the next people. Because my co-founder, who I think is one of the smartest people I've ever met, he came up with this concept of that, we are the American dream, where we were literally two kids out of college and we were able to start a hedge fund in an emerging space that is now claiming this legitimacy as the future of finance. And we're still building. It's still so small to where we want to be, and it's so powerful. And if we can empower other users, other people who are young, other people who don't have opportunities in today's system, and give them the power to really rise up and make their own success in this industry, that is the dream for us. So
how do you guys formulate your investment thesis? I mean, we've seen a lot of different cycles of different innovations, and sectors could really pop up and die. Yeah. Unfortunately, I put a lot of my eggs in the NFT basket in 2021. I'm sure some funds did also. I know someone here in San Francisco has bought $1 million worth of punks and apes during that time, and I'm not sure they're still around. And meme coins coming up. We know AI's hot. Where's your antenna going, and how are you guys kind of transitioning your funds to meet today's expectations?
It's such a great question because there's so much out there. It's where do you look? How can you decide? There's a million things that you could find that we would like, right? So we have gravitated very heavily towards Coinbase, and one of the reasons, or sorry, excuse me, Base. And the reason for that is we actually believe in Coinbase and we believe in what they're doing. And we think that as institutions allow for more adoption and more ability to on-ramp to crypto. You see Schwab, Fidelity, BlackRock, some of the largest institutions in the world, banks now providing access to crypto. Coinbase is going to lose some market share naturally in the space that they've dominated for years. So we see them turning a lot of their attention towards Base, which is their ecosystem or their scaling solution for Ethereum. We have been in huge fans of Ethereum and the idea that blockchain applications will become prevalent in everyday life. You may not notice that you're using blockchain, but we think that all these applications between cloud computing, AI, decentralized finance, gaming, all of these industries will have legs and will be using blockchain at some point. We see Ethereum as having the place where it has the most developers, it has the most infrastructure built, it has most of the money that's on chain. Obviously, if that changes, we will go where the money goes and where the resources are. But we see Ethereum as such a great play. Base to us is one of the best scaling solutions that we've seen, and we believe in what Coinbase has done. We think they're incredibly on-chain native, blockchain users and blockchain professionals. And we believe in what they want to do to disrupt finance. So we have put a lot of stock into Base as an ecosystem. It's definitely a large part of our portfolio, but we like other L2s as well. I mean, we're big into optimism. We're not exclusively for Ethereum. We have some Solana, and we like to keep an eye on ecosystems that could become competitive. And then right now, I'd say our latest trends that we are getting involved in and we've deployed some capital into is on the decentralized science side. But we love memes, we love infrastructure. We're not closed off to any part of the market. We just want to do our diligence and invest in good quality projects that have good long-term vision.
Yeah, I love that point of view from you. You definitely have an open mind. There's not like one blockchain that's going to rule the world. You definitely see how different blockchains are going to be case specific, I guess could say, or just evolve over time. But I'm with you. Base feels like a real winner in my point of view. I mean, it's connected to Coinbase, which you're starting off on the right foot right there, just with how they're going to roll out just tokenization of assets. Now we have a future president here that's definitely like moving markets with his crypto vision and looking to want to tokenize all sorts of stuff. And I do believe like the natural evolution would be to tokenize a lot on Base, utilizing Ethereum. And you hit the nail on the head. A lot of money's on Ethereum and a lot of developers are still building there. So there's still a lot of attention, a lot of good stuff going on. Now, there's this other end where there's all these other blockchains, Solana, and Solana's been popping off. And I think we could probably all safely say is a majority of the reason why I think Solana's popping off right now is meme coins are absolutely so hot. And they're one of the hottest things on chain. And I guess DPIN's very popular on Solana as well. So it's not just meme coins, in my opinion. But where I'm kind of going with this is I love the call out with Base and your vision there. How do you see just like the future of all these blockchains working together? How do you see a world where Solana and Base and ETH and even Bitcoin are going to live happily ever after?
Yeah, it's not a zero-sum game. There's room for every single chain in the space. I think obviously some will find their niches. Like, and when we think about it, we can compare an easy comparison in my mind comes to Solana with meme coins versus like meme coins on Base. They are two entirely different ball games. I am definitely not cut out for the Solana meme coin game. Some people are. Some people are going to make a ton of money that way. And I'm rooting for them. It's not like I have 100% stock into Ethereum and am rooting against Solana. There's room for both to grow, and there's some are going to attract. Solana is going to attract a certain level of person, and Base is going to attract a certain level of person. Solana meme coins. The reason that I can't participate in that is I think the attention span is very short. Right? I think that it's a lot of people who are looking to get things done very quickly, which is great, and that is part of the value proposition of Solana is they like speed, right? And that's always been one of the things that they talk about with ETH. It's more scalable, it's cheaper, it's faster, and that's great. For ETH, I see it as more of like a slow process, right? And I see that with Base as well. You see some of the meme coins on Base, and it feels like we're not trying to get in and out in a very short period of time. We're trying to build as a community towards a much larger price target, which I think is a really cool concept and very much attracts me to that ecosystem.
You talked about DeSci, which has implications of AI, and there's definitely so many sectors within AI. How are you guys navigating that? There's AI hedge funds out there nowadays that you have to compete with. I've heard
Yeah.
about, we heard AI agents that might get, what is it, financial guardrails in the future since they're going to be doing so much for us. Like, what's your thoughts on that sector overall?
Yeah, funny you asked me this. I really this week did a huge deep dive on AI agents, specifically in Base, just because it's what I know, it's what I've seen, and I know Joe, you're a Miggles guy. I know Brian, you're interested in Miggles as well, but they just launched a couple AI agents, so I figured it was time to really start paying attention. I went back into what happened with Truth Terminal, and now I'm looking at a lot of what's going on with Virtuals Protocol. Virtuals Protocol is awesome. It makes everything more accessible. It's anybody can go in there and just really design their own AI agent. And this is an incredible way to give resources to companies that don't have a ton of money or individual investors that can, have almost a full like research department or trading department now to aid them in their crypto journey by using AI. So I think it's incredibly exciting. We're playing around with AI agents. We'd like to get some up and running with our funds. We think it can add a lot to what we're doing. I don't think it's like us versus AI hedge funds, although it could be really tough to compete against some of them. So we need to adapt as a fund, as a company, and AI is really cool. I mean, the things that you can do with it, with AI agents, just like from an analyzation of the market, or even giving it a wallet and actually going out and participating and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. That could be really powerful for our company, and we are going to try and give people the tools to understand how they can use AI agents themselves.
I love the call out. I went down the rabbit hole of the AI agents hard over the past couple weeks because that's the talk of the town right now. Everyone's talking about AI agents. It's actually, we had it's going to be released before this podcast, so everyone check it out. We actually had Jeffy Wu, who is the developer of Cerebro, on the podcast as well. And that's, for everyone who's curious, that's one of the top AI agents on the Solana blockchain. And just famously enough, was flipped by market cap. Maybe it flipped back, but at one point it was flipped by one of the top agents found on the Base ecosystem, AIXBT, which is a very interesting agent, if I have to say. And I guess my take on these agents, and Joe and I have talked about this on in depth is it feels like some of them can be really copy and paste, and it's a game of hot potato. What agents get pop off? Which one's going to create a coin? Which one's going to burn a coin? But that AI XBT, Cerebro is one that I'm really interested in. I think it's doing some interesting things. But AI XBT is one of the agents that I still have alerts on for Twitter because they give out they're almost like mid-curve takes of what's happening in the AI world, but very interesting takes, scanning what the talk tracks are, where the mind share is. And then we had this famous point where these two agents, AI XBT and I believe it was Simi, made friends online completely autonomously. One recommends to create a coin. So AI XBT creates a coin chaos that's found on the base network. And then just yesterday, I remember it just started burning its holdings. And it's just a crazy world. And I'm really happy to be in it. But how do you see, like, I guess the way I look at AI agents, and I'll kick it over to you, Alec, is like, or AI is like, we have these pure AI coins, like the Nears, the Renders of the world. And then we have these AI agents. Then we have these infrastructure coins, which are the virtuals, the hats, where you can build the AI agents. And then you have just straight up meme coins, GOAT, fart coin. How do you look at the entire AI world, like in different sectors, or is it just kind of you're just diving deep and seeing what fits?
We're still trying to figure it out. So we have had our eye on virtuals for a while. We feel that we missed where we wanted to get in at. It doesn't mean it's too late, but you can't lose almost if that sector takes off. And it's the same it's the same without AI involved in crypto. It's like you can invest in, DeFi infrastructure, you can invest in meme coins. They're going to win regardless. It's just which one's going to win the most and which one's going to have the highest growth. We're still trying to figure it out on the AI side. But the best way to figure that out is get involved in each one of them and just see for yourself who is going to perform the best and where do we want to allocate resources towards in the future.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear that you guys are going to deploy your own AI agent. It seems definitely like the prudent move and something that we should do also, whether it to be to promote our own podcast or for our parent company, for our fund. It seems like that's like the new meta for this cycle because NFTs were the hot thing in 2021. Meme coins were leading out strong, but it seems like AI has just stolen the spotlight here. And it's going to bring like this massive innovation and a paradigm shift. As I was interviewing Cerebro, I found myself like grasping at straws. Like NFTs, no problem. I got it easy. On chain, bring everything, non-fungibility. I mean, he's talking about how AI agents now can start LLCs as an AI agent. I'm like, sounds crazy to me, like a dystopian future. He's talking about decentralized record labels and how it's happening today. And I'm just looking to keep up here, right? And like, I want to make sure that I'm not left behind here. I mean, besides AI, I want to talk about other stuff, but I just can't. Like, I want to ask, where does NFTs fit within this picture? Because there's so much happening, right? Because we had crypto, then we had NFTs, then we had meme coins, but it seems like everything's like crashing together in a tidal wave, and I'm trying to tread water here. Yeah, I don't think I have a question. I'm just complaining.
Joseph,
it's good. It's fun. It's there. This is how you know that we're in a bull cycle and it's still early. Is we're trying to determine what is going to be the play here. AI is super exciting. It's a natural progression of crypto. It is. People have been talking about AI combining with crypto for so long, and this is the first. I want to say the first use case because you were right, Brian. There's pure AI coins like Near and some of the other things that have been around for a while. This is the first time that we're participating in this because AI agents make sense for our business and what we want to do. And also as a part of the education that we provide and the research that we provide, we want to let people know how they can use this safely and effectively. I do want to also bring back, Joe, to what you said about NFTs and like where do they fit in. I don't know yet, but I think that's going to be extremely exciting. And I don't want to go this entire podcast on the Real Talk NFT without talking about NFTs. So, I'm ready to talk about that as well. I actually came prepared with some stuff about based gods. Are you guys familiar with based gods at all? and like the culture behind that and kind of what's going on there. So base gods they have a floor price now of, I want to say right around like 2.5 ETH. And we actually have been speaking about them for a while, since the floor was around zero point 0.2 ETH. And this is like one of the coolest things. So like I always struggled to wrap my head around NFTs and like kind of what value they provide. And a lot of my team had gotten in on base gods, and I missed the boat, quite frankly. Like I didn't invest in them. I didn't buy any of them. I'm the only one on the AB team that didn't. And that's okay. You know, you have to learn and you have to make expensive mistakes. But I figured out what I was missing for the first time with NFTs, which is really exciting. So base gods themselves are like, it is a cult made by the most elite industry developers in base. So like the top developers essentially created this lore behind, it's really about Brian Armstrong. It's like it's an adaptation of Brian Armstrong. It's, you know, a bald guy who, you know, created base and it is taken off as like this incredible like part of the industry and part of base that really deserves attention. And like the way that we see it is, these are the best builders and developers, and they deserve to be followed, and they deserve to be the ones who are putting out the winners. And so I think base gods are awesome, and it's the first time that I've really like been warm to NFTs. So wanted to bring that up with you guys as the NFT guys.
Yeah, Joe's sharing them. I was gonna say, yeah, I know a little bit about base gods because they have a D gods obviously vibe to them, but they're base gods. I did not realize we were talking about this a while back, Joe, about possibly using it as a call, but like NFTs were just kind of getting crapped on for a little while, and I was like, I'm not really sure, but that's some great insight, Alec. Really good dive a little bit deeper into it. But I want to jump back to what we were talking about AI, because that's really just like captivating my mind right now. And you were kind of saying that we had these like AI coins, like the nears that develop now this entire like new sector feels like. But the one thing that I've noticed is like all of those were kind of like crypto people trying to get involved with AI and AI researchers. Now that's where the GOAT token got very interesting to me. Andy Array, who's the AI researcher, and you know, the whole story is he basically has these LLMs, put them in a chat room, they started chatting it up, and then he gave it power to run Truth Terminal. But Andy never really, I mean, I'm sure he's thought about it, but his goal never was really for it to integrate in the cryptocurrency world. I'm sure he thought that could be a possibility, but that wasn't really his end goal. So when the AI agent who was running Truth Terminal went down this path of like now recommending the Goatius Maximus coin and just getting everybody hyped up, that was like a really like telling moment in my eyes. I was like, oh man, like the AI world now finally feels like it has eyeballs on the cryptocurrency world. And right when we thought that, that's when we started to see this boom of AI agents and coins created. And that's a big reason why we talk about within our private community. It's a big reason why I'm a big fan of the GOAT token at the end of the day. I don't think it's the most sophisticated token. I don't think it's the best agent that runs it. But it kind of started everything off. It started that boom. What are your thoughts there?
I think GOAT is the future of finance. It's, you know, it's as simple as that. No,
are you running Truth Terminals? Terminal Truth.
I think you just said something very profound there, and I think it actually shows how powerful crypto is, because it is the most accessible form of finance. Not always from a user experience perspective, but from if you have a computer and a wallet, an internet connection, you can participate. And it's actually so accessible that it can go beyond humans. It's now AI can actually participate in these markets because they have internet connection. They have, you know, somewhat autonomous thought. I know that Truth Terminal is semi-autonomous, and then they go in and they make decisions for themselves, and it wound up buying GOAT token, and you know that is it's incredible. It's a really great narrative around a funny story.
I had a question about base, since I'm not the expert there. It seems like you definitely have more insight. Base on-chain metrics, what's keeping them from being the next Solana, right? Or where Solana has a mass majority of usage in terms of DeFi and memes and NFTs. And then also, is there going to be a base token? I have not heard much about that.
Yeah, so there's not going to be a base token. Well, they've said that. Obviously, things can always change, but as of right now, what they see is they want to build the network and they want to support the builders and they don't want to get lost by creating a base token. But I think you brought up something else that's very interesting. Is like what's keeping it from becoming the number one chain, and it doesn't necessarily have to become the number one L2, even though I think it will be. I think it's still behind Arbitrum 1 a little bit in terms of like total value on chain or even volume. I'm not positive about the metrics there. But one thing that happens maybe a week or two ago, which was super powerful, is Phantom Wallet actually built a bridge from Solana to Base, and that's good for the whole ecosystem. That allows if I want to move some of my Base, holdings onto Solana, I think that's really good for Solana. I think we've seen a lot of inflows into Base recently, and we're creating a world that's more interoperable within crypto, and you can always go to the best projects. And one of the things I struggled with when I started using Base about a year ago, and I started using Solana at the same time too, was how can I get my assets from one to another? I have to buy Solana on Coinbase, or I have to buy Solana on Gemini or whatever crypto on ramp you use. I have to send it here. What if I wanted to move that money into a different market that's EVM compatible? So that Phantom Bridge has been incredible. I've used it many times in the past week, and like the more that we have infrastructure like that, the more successful the entire industry will be.
Yeah, I like that swapping system. I've actually used it quite a few times. I've made some money on Solana Memecoins, and I was like, I want to buy some of these AI infrastructure and AI agents over in Base, and I was using it on Phantom. Of course, the first time whenever you're doing a swap, you're kind of always like, I hope this works. But
Yeah.
it was super smooth, showed up, everything went really well. And I think that's a great call out, Alec, is that just the easier we can make things, the better it can perform for all chains involved. I kind of lost my train of thought. Joe, you have anything?
I was just curious where Base is taken off most, because we know Solana leads in terms of memes, right? It seems like Base is taken off with AI for a mass majority of reasons. And similar to everyone here, we like to play around in DeFi world. So seeing where kind of Base leads there as of now, is it DeFi? I know NFTs had a little bit of pop back a year or two ago. Where's the opportunity in Base is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think there's opportunity all around. So, you've seen success with the base NFTs, you've seen success with the DeFi component. You've seen a lot of success with memes. I mean, some of the biggest memes, obviously like Brett, Toshi, but then my personal favorite is Miggles, and it's a little bit more than a meme, right? They are getting involved in the AI component. They are getting really involved in the IP. They want to be the main, facilitator of IP generation and development for memes, which is awesome and benefits everything on Base. And then things as silly as just regular memes that are funny. Like one meme that I just got involved in that's super early is called Sigs Inside. I thought that was funny. I think, the narrative around smoking a cigarette inside, like what did they take from us? I thought that was hilarious. I'm not a cigarette smoker myself, but I respect the game. So I think there's so much that you can see on Base. I think there is good stuff around DeSci. I think DeSci is something that Brian Armstrong has been pushing for a while. If you look at something like Research Coin, that is something that we're involved in. We're looking into a few other protocols now. But it was described like Research Hub has been described as the Reddit of the science community. That's powerful. That's like blockchain is a data source. And if you can attach it to all these industries that have had trouble with transparent data for however long, it's science is very siloed. It's this company's researching this company's researching this. If we have an open sourced way for everybody to contribute information, other scientists to come in and make comments, do peer reviews, other things, that can benefit that industry. I'm no scientist, but I imagine the flow of good and transparent information could be beneficial to them. So there's a lot to answer your question. There's so much on Base that is good. It's not trying to only be memes. It's not trying to only be NFTs. It's not trying to only be one thing. So we see it as disrupting a ton of different industries, and it's very exciting.
Give me the bull case for Miggles. I guess there's three that we talk about a lot: Miggles, Russell, and Toshi. Why is Miggles your number one bull case there?
I love their community. It's not like, listen, there's a lot of value in having KOLs and key opinion leaders and other people that are involved in the chain. It's very much a organic growth community. They are focused on trying to lift other ships up. Really appreciate that they're trying to be an IP play for both themselves and for other memes on the Base platform. They have gotten involved in AI. They are still, it's small compared to some of the other meme coins that do less, in my opinion, on the Base network and just across the blockchain ecosystem as a whole. So I'm super bullish on them. I think they've got a great team. They've got Per Labs, which is helping to incubate a lot of the IP, a lot of other memes, a lot of other coins on Base. So there's a lot to be excited about there. I'm very bullish on it. My team jokingly calls me the Michael Saylor of Miggles. Because I'm trying to figure out how I can sell everything that I have to buy more all the time.
Not financial advice.
Last question here. No
financial advice.
Yeah, no, we love Mr. Miggles. Yeah, personally, cats are coming up in the meme world somehow. And last question for you here from my side, at least. We talk Base, we talk Solana. What's your view on, the Bitcoin, the mothership? NFTs on there. They had his day a few years ago. Meme coins on there. What's your outlook there?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I am a Bitcoin guy personally. While the fund participates very heavily on Ethereum and the larger blockchain ecosystem, what got me in was Bitcoin, right? It is pure, it's awesome. It's at $100,000. It is, it's the easy way for someone with an ideology of let's create a better financial system. It is the best exposure to that. And I like to see, I think I mentioned this to you last time we spoke, Brian, but I love to see Bitcoin getting involved in other things and going beyond what it is. I do think that its number one use case as a store of value, as a potential actual currency down the line that you can spend, is awesome. And I think that that's the number one focus, but Bitcoin should always be king and number one. And if they want to get involved in other parts of the industry, I'm all for it.
Yeah. A reason I love talking to you, Alec, is we're aligned on a lot of the similar views in this industry. And it's probably because we, follow it so closely, it's hard not to be, but we feel very similar. We love Bitcoin. It's kind of the mothership. We want as much Bitcoin as we have. I roll a lot of profits into Bitcoin. And I have dabbled in the runes world, in the ordinals world, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to acquire more Bitcoin because that's my end goal. So we're very aligned there. I did remember what I forgot earlier, and it's kind of out of context, not financial advice for anybody, but when we were talking about a Base token, Joe, all I could think about in my head, I was like, arrow for from the swapping. I'm a huge holder of it. So nobody buy it because I'm a holder of it, not financial advice, but absolutely love that protocol, love that swapping system, and really like the token.
Their liquidity pooling is also a great interface. They've got a great dashboard. It's easy. It's actually, in my mind, has been the easiest interface and experience to participate in liquidity pools. Uniswap, there's a little bit of a learning curve there. There's obviously some other, PancakeSwap does a good job, and there's obviously a lot of different DeFi protocols and platforms that you can use. But I really like what Arrow's doing. It is right now attempting to be the Base native DeFi platform. and swapping platform, and there's a decent amount of liquidity there. There's a lot of transaction volume. It's a good platform. I'm all for them. One other platform that we participate in and look at is BSwap. It's not where Aerodrome is now, but it's just another platform on Base to look at if you want to provide liquidity, if you want to yield with some of your tokens, and you want to swap. There's some areas where it does have more liquidity than Arrow, but just super bullish on the ecosystem as a whole. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Arrow too. So I'm glad you brought that up, Brian.
Yeah, I bought Arrow. It's one of my best trades of all time, to be completely honest with you. I bought it last February and fired some ETH in it, and it was pennies. I think it was 9 cents because I remember telling Joe about it and him fading me. But no, but I locked it up. Like I locked it up for a year and 4 years respectively. Like you can lock it up and vote. And then it just started crushing like a few months in. It like hit $2. I was like, I can't even get this right now. I was up so much. I was like, I can't believe I can't even get it. But I'm super happy I didn't, because it's rebounded really nicely. And like you said, the interface is interesting. You could provide liquidity. You could do a voting mechanism where you vote and you get passive earnings. It's just a really interesting product in my eyes. Again, not financial advice, but I've always kind of looked at Arrow as that base token. If Base never really rolled out a token, that could kind of like become the base token. But again, not financial advice for anybody listening. I have to say that a lot because I get really bullish.
Yeah, well, Arrow is one of the base tokens, and ETH is one of the base tokens, and USDC, and there's a lot to happen on Base. I do love Arrow because you can participate pretty heavily in the ecosystem on that platform. So yeah, I love what you said there, Brian. That's awesome. I'm glad that you got in when you did, and it worked out for you so well. And I hope it continues to work out for you.
No doubt about it, man. We're bullish on Base, and I only see green pastures. It's Bitcoin's $100,000, guys. I mean, we're ripping. We're all eating steak and shrimp this weekend. I'll tell you that much. Alec, we've talked for a while, man. I'm going to give you an opportunity to give a shout out to Advantage Blockchain so people could find you. You guys are doing some great stuff, and obviously find you out there in the Twitter universe.
Yeah, so as I said in the beginning of this podcast, our goal is to help you be successful on chain. So we love anyone, big, small, financial advisors, and family offices, but also, the investor that's looking to just get into the space. So we want to talk to everyone. We want to help everyone. And we are very generous with our time and our resources. If you want to find us, advantageblockchain.com. We're on every social media you can think of. We write incredible free research on our Substack. We do have a podcast also called the User Extractable Value Podcast. It really just started and is taking off. I'm actually about to record an episode right after this. And we'd love to get you guys on there, return the favor and meet some of our team. And yeah, I mean, personally, I'm on X, I'm on LinkedIn. My X is Alec Beckman _AB. That's not for Alec Beckman again. That's for Advantage Blockchain. And we reach out to us. We are there. Telegram, any way you want to reach out is great to us.
Awesome. And I'm going to put all those links down below for the podcast, for the Twitter, for Advantage Blockchain. Absolutely make sure you check it out. Alec is one of my favorite people in the industry. Just met him a couple weeks ago, but absolutely love chatting it up with him. Alec, appreciate you jumping on the podcast today.
No, thank you guys. You guys are great. I love what you're doing, and I love how you're supporting the entire ecosystem. It's awesome.